Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, our beautiful country, and how we're going to fix this bad boy together. Guys, Gavin's coming. I hope you guys batten down the hatches and you are ready, because the thing that we've known is going to happen for quite a while now is in full swing. The rebranding of Gavin Newsom is what we're going to talk about. From Shawn Ryan appearances all the way to Tennessee to South Carolina. I'm going to show you the entire thing and break down what he's actually doing and the tactics that he's using. But this is incredibly important. We cannot allow this to go quietly, and we need to make a lot of noise on this one. So make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and send this out, because the amount of change you can create just by taking part in the conversation is insane. All right. Speaking of creating change, guys, you got to check out the Second Press community that we just started. Sure, there's behind-the-scene content. There's exclusive access to me and to Katie. You get some really awesome cutting-edge stuff that other people don't get, but that's not the main reason to do it. The main reason is we are creating a content machine through a 2A studio that has never been attempted before. We are going to change the culture by drowning out the left. We are going to push them to obscurity on the gun control front, because they will not be able to keep up with the content creation, the messages, the memes, the videos, and all the short content. We are going to go throttle all the way to the bottom, but it won't work unless you guys join us. So please check out secondpress.co. There's a link in the description box below. This studio and something like it has never been attempted. And for the next generation, this is how we get them involved in the fight. And you can help the entire thing. So make sure you check it out, secondpress.co. I would love to see you in there. And now let's get into the show. This is the one, guys, right here. Gavin Newsom. We've been waiting. All right. I'm going to go ahead and play this clip. I might get copyright stricken on this part and might have to remove it. So if it looks weird on the back end on a replay, just bear with me. But this is what happened on the Shawn Ryan show. Now, before I go into the whole clip, understand I'm not against Shawn Ryan having a conversation with somebody. I'm not against Shawn Ryan. I don't think Shawn Ryan's a gun controller. I don't think Shawn Ryan doesn't like guns. That's not the point. In fact, I think the 2A space has to go out into the population and engage in the ideas and get out of our towers. That's my own personal stance. That's why I made that Second Press community studio that you're looking at. But when you do this, you have to do it carefully. Because when we talk about changing the culture, this is what we're trying to achieve, to prevent this from happening. Watch, this is really important.
This gift. Last thing people would expect is that I respect this gift.
Ready for this?
This is an actual, I got to report this gift, man.
That is a California compliant Big Sour P365 macro.
All right. You guys have seen that clip. I hit it a lot on my X account. Listen, here's the problem. I don't care if you want to give Gavin Newsom a gift. That's your choice. But the problem becomes, this man is a icon of gun control from California. He is one of the leaders of the gun control movement, infringing upon the rights of the citizenry of California, and now he wants to do it to a national audience. The reason that this is so important is because when you give someone who is of that pedigree when it comes to gun control a California compliant firearm, you're enabling his own compliance. That's the point. The point is not, how could you talk to Gavin Newsom? I don't care. I think he's a person. Have a conversation. But the point at which you're actually giving him a gift which reinforces his support, and then he gets to go and say, well, I just believe in common sense after all. You are taking part in the acceptance of the infringements in the 2A space. That's the point. And guys, that's why we're doing the Second Press. That's why we're changing the culture. Because if we go out into these spaces and have conversations with Shawn Ryans, I'll do it. You can easily explain why this is a problem. But if you don't have a conversation or a foot at that table or a seat at that table, you can't. That's why we're attempting to do what we're trying to do. But this right here, Gavin Newsom just got Shawn Ryan to give him a California compliant firearm, and he accepts it wholeheartedly. The entire point here, if you accept the tyranny that they're giving you in the form of compliance, you're only reinforcing it and you're normalizing it to go to the next level, which will be national, which is what this man will do. That's an important piece to this. But that's why we have to have a seat at the table. We have to get out of our towers. We do, simply. All right, so now I want to go into this piece as well, Because Gavin Newsom is doing every single trick in the book he possibly can. He said earlier on in the presidential campaign, or in the aftermath of Kamala Harris losing, that they needed to get into the pod sphere, the YouTube sphere, the man sphere, the internet, because they're getting outplayed. He just went on Shawn Ryan. He's going into South Carolina. He's going into Tennessee. He's going into all these areas, and look how he's setting himself up and couching himself. He's doing the Barack Obama. He's got his sleeves at 3/4. He's got a nice unbuttoned white shirt. He's having a beer on the backyard. He's one of us. He's every kind of guy. This is the appeal they're going to go for. And you're going to see this for 2.5 years. And it works. His policies don't work, but the framing and the political inferences of him looking like other people guarantee works. That's why you see all politicians do it. This is important, but listen to what he says.
Like, no bullshit.
We tend to lift up whoever gives this guy shit. And you guys have done a very good job of giving this
Well,
guy
lately,
shit.
yeah, God bless. After LA and raids and then nationalizing or federalizing the Guard.
What you're seeing is a normalization. Now, this is a liberal in Tennessee, which confound me beyond belief, but that's what you're dealing with here. Backyard setting, 3/4 sleeves. I'm having a beer. You're having a beer. I can drink a beer. We can make fun of the way he does his little things, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't carry weight. What you have to understand is what's happening. All right. I'm going to keep on going. I got 2 more. This is something that he just said in South Carolina. Millions without health care and food assistance, trillions added to the national debt, all to fund tax cuts for billionaires that weren't asking for them. Guys, do you really believe that the governor of California, one of the most financially insolvent states, who has the biggest issues across the board, the entire state burns down all the time, and you have insane amounts of economic fiscal irresponsibility, he's preaching about financial responsibility? Guys, you're looking at the man who's going to try to go to the White House. He's wearing the same shirt, same 3/4. Watch this.
We could talk about the big, beautiful betrayal. The largest healthcare cuts in American history just happened, and they're celebrating that success. Cutting Meals on Wheels. Eliminating for millions and millions of people access to food. Our children access to food. Stacking debt, the likes of which none of us could have ever imagined. The greatest transfer of wealth in American history, all for tax cuts for corporations and billionaires that weren't even asking for them. That's the world we're living in today.
Same playbook, same all the time. Barack Obama body language, using his hands like this, starting using different inflections, tones that he normally doesn't use, talking about class warfare. Guys, this man is running for president. It's just not official yet. But you know that. What I'm trying to illustrate here is what he's doing is seductive to people when you do not have foundations in what you are firmly believing. Okay? That's the whole point to this. This man is going to run for president. We're going to be covering him and fighting him for 3 years. Guarantee it. But what's happening right now is a run to the middle and a run to the central position because he thinks there's an opening there. Guys, I'm telling you, this is happening. That's why we cover these things. Here's another one. This is the exact same thing. Same language, same body language, same shirt attire. And all of these are in different states, different cuts. I'm telling you, it's being crafted for you to accept it. Watch this.
What we're experiencing is America in reverse. They're trying to bring us back to a pre-1960s world on voting rights. You know it well. Civil rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, and not just, access to abortion, but also access to...
Just look at the body language that he's using right here, where he's got the mic and right here in the comfortable position. Then he's got his hand out here, like caressing this magical unicorn that doesn't exist, pointing off into some distant forlorn future. Like it doesn't make sense what he's doing, but it's all switching into Obama mode. He's trying to be the Californian Gavin Newsom Obama. That's what he's trying to do. He's going back to the threats of your civil rights pre-1960. He's doing the Joe Biden, they're going to put y'all back in chains. He's doing the economic warfare. He's doing the chaos. Everything that you're seeing is a well-known play. The man is trying to run to the center to moderate to get the nomination. It's happening. And when you go into the road of giving them California compliant firearms, you're only enabling it further, thinking that, see, even the people on the right agree with common sense. That's the point of why we don't do this. And guys, the big point on this, you have to look at the tricks that they're employing. They are trying to frame him as a everyday, normal guy, not an elitist, not someone who would take your rights. Here's a California compliant gun. Here's a podcast with Shawn Ryan. Here's all these things that he can do. Look, he's just like you. He drinks a beer in the backyard. He rolls his sleeves up on his Oxfords. Guys, you're about to experience a whirlwind of reframing and redesigning for this man. And we're going to be here fighting it every single day, all the frickin' time. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.